Okay, I guess it's 10 past 9. I would like to welcome all the participants. I'm very pleased that you have the time to join us this morning. Today it's all about transparency and why transparency matters. My name is Gerd Meyer-Zuköcker. I was asked to moderate, or has the pleasure to moderate today's workshop. And I'm very pleased to have my colleagues from Anteja with me, some of the leading companies in the field of transparency and traceability. And this is all our topic today. It will be divided in 3 main parts. One is that Anteja will introduce why transparency really matters, and coming from Germany, having the value chain law in place, it really matters. After that, we will have questions, answers, and then we will move to some case studies to make it even more practical, like for you. And in the end, we will show how digital tools can really help us with the phyZapp case study. So these are the topics today. I kindly ask, and it seems to be that everyone does, if you listen, please switch off the camera and demute. If you want to discuss, if you want to comment, if you want to disagree, whatever, please mute. I can see, I will interrupt, and then we can discuss. So I guess that is everything is set, and I would like to hand over to Anteja to start with the first part, if you agree. Please, Anteja, go ahead.
Thank you, Gerd, and welcome everybody. So let's have about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, deep, look into the transparency and what transparency means to us, and more importantly, what transparency, what kind of opportunities we can have and how we can use digital tools to increase our position in the market. I have just, in a couple of days ago, checked what's going on with the transparency. We are in the field for more than 3 years, but now in 2021, the transparency become the first trend in the market space of the fruits and vegetables and any kinds of natural ingredients. Also, what's become really important, and it's for any kind of brands, is that now it's not only quality was matter, but in the brand core, it's becoming ethics, environment, and health. So this means that all brands has to communicate. It's become normal that we do have very product which is in a high quality, but it's not very so sure if it is also ethical and it has a positive impact on the environment and on the health. So it's what transparency means, when we talked with the companies, majority of them doesn't actually understand what is transparency. And transparency is, to be transparent actually means that the company should really know what's happening in their supply chain. This means for the agribusiness, this means from the farmers and then to the processing, for the harvesting, and then to the packaging. And then they have to understand how to communicate this information and knowledge to their stakeholders. This is not only company, their buyers, but it's also the stakeholders, which can be the government, which can be NGOs, which can be any kind of actors which are in their community. Absalom. Why this all this pressure? This actually doesn't come only because of the COVID, but from the environment and social problems, and become very clear, that doing just a business for a profit is just not good enough. We have to do the business much more sustainable, and the consumers from all over the world start pushing on the brands, and not only asking what they are doing, but they are asking and they demanding that the all products are healthy, they do not damage their health, and they do not damage even not communities. This means communities where the product is consumed, but also communities where natural ingredients or any kind of the parts of the product are produced. And this is now, in the last couple of years, we are seeing also movement in the regulatory space when governments start demanding and making laws how the supply chain is supposed to be organized and what kind of information they have to prepare and share with the communities. And I think that this is extremely important for all brands, that 71% of consumers are absolutely sure that if the firm put profit over the people, they will lose trust in the brand. So this means the brand will not be anymore in the shelves because no one is buying this. In addition, 94% of the consumers are become much more loyal to the transparent brands. So this means to those companies which put in the brands environment and the social responsibility in the core. And then, it's everybody's asking if transparency is so important and can bring so many good things to the company, to the people, to the environment. Why is this is so slow? Why actually the companies doesn't use it? Why they do not do it? And the answers to these questions are actually very simple. First of all, firms do not know what is transparency. Second, the relevant information for the transparency are very rarely combined, gathered, and then very rarely communicated. And what comes, through our research in the last couple of months, the majority of the firms believes that the investment in the transparency is a cost which cannot be covered. So they perceive it as a cost and not as an investment on the future. Some of the firms, yes, they have it, they believe it, this is nice to have it, but they do not understand that it's not nice to have it, but it's becoming mandatory to have it. And here is some consequences, what can happen, if you are not transparent. And this is the most important things, if we are not transparent, the consequences are first in the environment. And we can see this in many products. We can take about avocados because there is no water. We can see, deforestation. Then in the next step is the child labor, modern slavery, and food contamination. And here is some examples, to make it more practical and that you understand what does it mean and why supply chain is so important. For example, last year, the Australian Institute for Strategic Policy identified and put on the real paper and put China under the big pressure is that because they discovered that China put Uyghur minority, this is the Muslim minority, in some kind of ghettos and the camps. And they use this labor force, to work for the most, for the brands like Adidas, Puma, Apple, Sony, name it, and there was a big crash. I do not know if you're familiar with this, but all of these brands, or majority of them, including Nike, was put on the parliament in the UK, and they have to answer very, very tough questions. So the stories keep going on, China starts moving a bit, but the truth is, it's that the brands are still there, and they try to somehow, hide in what they're doing. And then, this is from 1 month ago, that Mars, Nestle, and Hershey, so all users of the cacao from Ivory Coast are put on the court in Washington. What happened? 4 young kids put these companies into the court because they claimed that they were actually kidnapped from their own country, which is Mali, and they put in the Ivory Coast, and they were promised to have 34 pounds per month payment. What happened is they were not paid, and for more than 2 years, they were exposed to the pesticides, they were exposed to the herbicide, without protecting clothes. Go on and go on. You can go to the Google and you will see this story. So, and as I said, Mars, Nestle, and Hershey, they're facing a big issue, how to camouflage this now and how to get out of this. And then something which is probably more close to the companies in East Africa, it's the latest story about avocado produced in Kenya, which was literally kicked out from the Tesco, Sainsbury, and Lidl. And it was kicked out from these producers because they were accused that they do not respect human rights with their farmers. It's not actually the Tesco, which has very high standards on Sainsbury and Lidl, but the problem is that consumers are not buying products which are contaminated, I would say, with the human rights inclusion or big problems with the environment. And yeah, so from this point of view, transparency is not compliance. We get many questions. What is this? No, it's not compliance. It's just a new benchmark how to do the business, and how to do the business which is not harm for the environment, in which brings wealth to the community. And yeah, at this point, I will just put it to Jon to see what kind of opportunities can be generated because of the transparency.
Okay, so hi everyone. Yeah, so as Matej explained, the opportunities are there, because there is such lack of transparency, that companies and brands, wherever in the world they are, but also this includes companies like yours, the ones in East Africa. It means that it gives them an opportunity to really stand out, but at the same time also to gain more trust and loyalty, and there are also some financial benefits to being transparent. So how is this in line with what consumers want? So consumers are really now putting transparency as the number one factor when they are making sort of decisions in which brands they want to buy, which products they want to consume, and they are really interested in the story around the product. So everything ranging from the origin of the product to what are the social environmental impacts of the product. And here, these opportunities are really great because the consumers, as Matej said in the beginning, out of the really numerous consumers that were interviewed by Harvard University in some research, 94% of them stated that they are going to be a lot more likely to be loyal to companies that offer some sort of transparency, which means that basically everyone is more willing to be loyal and is more going to consider brands that offer more transparency than those who don't. At the same time, because this is something that is at the moment quite rare in the space of brands, this transparency, it's really an opportunity to stand out, to make to be differentiated from the competition, and to improve the market position of your company and your products. And are there any financial benefits? Yes, there actually are. Some research show, that between the consumers that are looking at transparent companies, they are willing to pay between 2 to 10% more for the products that offer any kind of transparency in terms of the products that they produce and sell. So, of course, this is also a great benefit, for companies and an opportunity for them to earn more money in the market. So if there are any questions at this point, just raise your hand here. Like you can put, there's a button to raise your hand, or just type it into the chat box and we can discuss it. Otherwise, we can just move ahead and continue.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jon. Any comments or experiences? I don't know, Bobby, do you have some experience with the topic of transparency? Because we just discussed this in the introduction. Bobby, any comments from your side? Might be.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I have a few comments. Actually, from Jon's presentation, there's the last point which says that most products still do not reveal about the social and environmental impact.
Yes, yes.
Yes, just the last bullet down here. I am wondering if you have more details about that. Why, why that? How are other companies doing it differently? And my question comes from a more small size company perspective, because I imagine big companies could fairly do that well. So please explain that. And then the other question is, how do actually consumers, you mentioned yeah, most of the consumers are becoming so focused on transparency that how do they verify the transparency information, because now through the QR code digitally, yes, they read it. Okay, Bobby Mara is doing ABCD, is very transparent. But Bobby is in Uganda, like, I imagine there could be dubious businesses, you know, communicating as transparently as possible, but doing as worst as, yeah. So how do really consumers verify this? I think I will stop there for now. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question was
Thanks,
about
Bobby.
how do companies do it, you know? And you mentioned that the big ones maybe do it well and the smaller ones struggle. I think that the reality is quite the opposite. I think that the bigger companies don't have this actual knowledge about what is happening in their supply chain because they are involved in such great schemes in so big supply chains and networks of supply, you know, that they do not have an overview into what is happening. And this is then the opportunity for the smaller companies who are working more directly with the producers, who are working more directly with the certain partners in their supply chains, you know. It means that these companies can take the opportunity, you know, and really stand out also from the bigger ones, you know, because it's still a new trend that is coming, but it's coming very fast, you know. So it's the bigger ones are struggling more with this than the smaller ones, I would say.
Yeah, and maybe I would add, Bobby, you know, you said that maybe they can just make some information. And, you know, this is exactly, you know, what I try to point out, what happened to Nestle and what happened to the Nike and all these companies, okay? Because they didn't know what's happening in the supply chain, or even they know, you know, but they were not transparent about this. They come around the corner, you know, and the risk is that their reputation is heavily, heavily jeopardized. So is actually the company task, you know, to go deep to the supply chain. For example, for you, you know, I know that you work with all these producers of your coffee, okay, and so that you make their story, that you work with them and make the story transparent, okay, and this is what consumers value, okay. And
Yes,
if you are not telling the right story, it will come around as a boomerang for sure.
and okay, I like the question very much, Bobby. Just from the perspective of the consumer, I guess if you want to hide something, then you will not disclose anything. If you put everything, make everything visible, it will be hard to cheat. Okay, because then you become transparent. For example, if you disclose with what farmers you work, I mean, you will not cheat. Okay, because then we have the names and the picture and so on. So I guess this habit, and in the positive meaning that yes, I'm transparent. I show to a certain extent what I'm doing, what is my labor philosophy. This is much better than any kind of certificate, which can be copied and pasted for something else.
And
okay.
Just one more thing that I would like to add is that, you know, as soon as you are willing to communicate any sort of transparent information, you set the benchmark against which people can go and check. And this is, you know, it gives some sort of initiative, you know, for companies not to lie, because as soon as you start communicating something, as Gerd said, it means that you are willing to also showcase that if people go and check, this will still be the truth. And this is where the trust lies.
Yeah.
But very good question, Bobby. This is exactly questions which are relevant for many other brands. Okay, so I guess thanks a lot for this very good discussion, Bobby and Jon. Are there other comments or remarks? If not, then please, Jon, move ahead, that we can have the second question and answer session a bit later.
Okay. So just moving ahead, you know, I would just like to go into this sort of case study in terms of how simple transparency digital tools can help companies really achieve these benefits that we were explaining before, you know. So sort of how to build trust and loyalty, how to stand out from the competition, and how to even potentially be able to charge higher prices for your product can be actually done in practice, not just in theory. And I will also show some examples of companies that have successfully done that, and that can be sort of the examples, you know, for companies that wish to do it as well. So what is phyZapp? phyZapp is a tool, to empower African brands with digital transparency so that they can share the product story and improve their market position to build more brand trust and loyalty. This is, in short, what phyZapp is. And how does it work? So phyZapp really helps you to put together all the information, all the main chapters and information that people are looking for. So in regards to the product details, where it is coming from, in regards to the processes that it went through, as well as the impacts of the product. And once you have all of this information presented and organized, you can communicate it over your social media, you can add it to your website, or you can also put the QR code labels such as this to your product packaging so that consumers can learn about this story of your product and for you to enjoy the benefits of being transparent as much as possible. And I just have a short video that I would like to show you that we prepared about phyZapp, and I hope that you will find it insightful. Can you see the video screen?
Yes, we can. Okay. Yes, go ahead, please.
A growing segment of consumers is becoming more demanding in their search for transparent products. 94% of surveyed consumers are more likely to be loyal to transparent companies and are willing to pay up to 10% more. Let the consumers dive into your transparency world full of information about the product details, where the ingredients come from, the production processes, your social responsibility, and environmental sustainability practices. You can communicate all this with a special QR code on your products, the phyZapp label. When a consumer scans the QR code, they can discover all the important product details and check the product's authenticity with just a few simple clicks. phyZapp helps you aggregate, organize, and communicate transparency information. You can upload photos, enter geolocations to mark the product's origin, and upload your certificates. When ready, download the generated phyZapp label and print it together with your product label. phyZapp provides you with the data about the scanning activity to learn about your consumer scanning habits and your product's global reach. The phyZapp label will directly connect consumers with your company. It will communicate the values that the consumers are looking for and help you build trust and loyalty for the brand. Join phyZapp and become a transparency champion of your industry.
Okay, so let me switch back to the presentation.
Yes, please.
So just a few sort of success stories, that really point out the value of it. Okay, so we have here the Mionga, which is a producer of dried fruits, and they are working with many smallholder farmers. I think that almost 5,000 in rural Kenya, and they process the foods, to add value to them, and they have a good story around it. And since they implemented phyZapp, this really enabled them to do multiple really great successes. They are able to share the story about the product, and it helps them build more trust and loyalty with the Kenyan consumers looking at buying dried fruits. And it was sort of the way for them of how to really become an established brand of providing these sort of products in the local market. At the same time, they use this information to stand out at trade fairs that they visit and in the retail shops where their products are sold. Another great benefit for them was that when they were able to promote this product, they got in touch with also someone who was a distributor of natural products in Germany, and now they have their own private line of products branded in the shops in Germany. So not only were they able to increase their sales and build trust and loyalty in Kenya, but now they were also able to expand their sales channels and also got a distributor in Germany for their products. On the other hand, we have one Ugandan company that produces Shea butter, And the same as the same as Mionga, they have a lot of these smallholder farmers they work with, and they have a really good environmental and social impact. And using phyZapp, you know, they are again able to stand out and become sort of the put in a position of leadership in the business of Shea butter cosmetics in the in the Ugandan market. And they were also able to generate more sales in at trade fairs, and they were able to also generate sales, you know, across the region. So there are some other success stories of companies that have implemented phyZapp, and we are really looking forward to see what they will be able to do with this and how they can really improve their market position using it. So it ranges from coffee producers to honey, to fruits, to general exporters of some products, to also some other dried fruit companies like Priceless Farms. And now I can just give you a quick walkthrough of how phyZapp actually works so that you will get a better understanding, and then we can have another sort of session where we can discuss if you have any questions until this point. So let me share my screen, and please let me know if you see my screen now with the, do you see this? Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do see.
Okay. So everything regarding phyZapp is cloud-based, and we have this, everyone receives their login details using which they can just access the tool from any sort of device that has access to Wi-Fi. So your laptop, computer, your smartphone or tablet. So these are some products that we have prepared, you know, and just to give you an example of how it works. So phyZapp, again, as I said before, and as you saw in the video, helps you to put together information that consumers are looking for. So that means information about the product, including sort of the basics like the name of the product, the photo, description, as well as then to also communicate what are the ingredients in this product, the nutritional values, and maybe also the recipes and how to use instructions so that you can communicate. Maybe you are producing coffee or tea, that you can communicate how to best make the best tasting coffee, or if you are selling Shea butter cosmetics, how to apply the products for the optimal use. Then on the other hand, you're able to map out the origin of the ingredients that are part of your product. So you can map out the farmer groups you work with, or you can map out the suppliers with the geolocation so that people know where your product is coming from, and they know what type of suppliers you work with, etc. Then on the other hand, we have these processes where you can describe in brief your production processes. If you are producing a product where storage is important to the quality of the product, you can also describe the storage practices, as well as the codes of conduct that can be part of your routine. And here the codes of conduct maybe are very important in these times of COVID, where you can explain how maybe you're using I don't know, hand sanitizers, or how you're using masks, to prevent any additional spread of COVID or any contamination of the product itself, So openly disclosing this type of information to build trust in the product. Then you're also able to upload your certificates so that people can see exactly that you meet, for example, the quality standards of the National Bureau of Standards, or that you meet some sort of hygienic criteria, etc. Then it comes to the social responsibility, where you can describe your labor practices that you have with people that are part of your company and your supply chain. You can describe how you work with your farmers or suppliers so that you give consumers more details about, okay, this is how we are presenting the work. And then we have this farmer story where you can put for more personal touch, profile of a specific farmer that you work with. Then we have the environmental sustainability, where you can communicate anything that is in regard to environmentally friendly production, as well as the sustainable packaging that you might be using in your company. So if your packaging maybe is recyclable, you can share this information so that people know how to recycle it or how to reuse it, and have like a good environmental impact. So once you add all of this information, you can simply click save, and the information will be saved so that you can view. Okay, and then you can generate labels through which you communicate this information. So you can communicate it, as I said before, through the label QR code on the product packaging or on your promotional material, or you can simply then also take this URL and then copy paste it in your for your website or for any sort of marketing that you are doing on your social media, website, etc. So in general, this is it in terms of how these are the basic features. Of course, if you are interested to learn more, we are here, to put together one-on-one meetings so that you can learn more and see how phyZapp can help you in your company.
Johan, just please, no, please keep it for a second. Can you just please keep it? Those of you who are interested, you can take your mobile and might be scanned immediately here from the screen. I just did it, and it shows nicely how it looks like on a mobile. So that means it shows how it looks like nicely animated. Johan, this was quite interesting topic. So might be I can ask David, because I know that he has a lot of experience with this tool as well. David, based on your experience, can we find out what information is most important when companies using such tool like phyZapp? Is there any experience from your side, David? Is it more the product description which is most challenging, or is it more finding responsibility, social responsibility? So David, what is your experience? Can you share with us, please?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gerd, for the opportunity to speak. So just to answer your question, based on my experience with clients we'll find that a lot of them either they have these nice stories. Like, for instance, we have clients who mention that they don't have any child labor policies. Other clients mention that every purchase that they get, maybe 10% goes to a charitable organization. So you see, these are stories that companies have that they keep out to them, and consumers would really like to know this information because this really adds value to your product. So this is the social responsibility that you have. Also, environmental sustainability practices. These days, we're all aware of global warming and all the efforts to reduce. So if you have any measures that you do to be sustainable in the environment, this is an opportunity for you to share these details. And you're really able to connect with the consumer. So when someone buys a product, they scan and they find this information that you've disclosed, which you might not think is important, but once you do, it really gains that attachment, and they even recommend it to their friends because compared to other clients, you are at a competitive advantage in their eyes. So I hope this has answered your question, Gerd.
Absolutely. That means it was very interesting what we are saying, David. That means the challenge is not that companies don't have the information. The challenge is that they are not get used to communicate. Did I catch it right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. My company, of course, we also have social responsibilities, but internally. But we never put it on any document or any tool. Okay, that is quite very interesting. Thanks, David. And coming back to what Bobby said, is I guess, Bobby, if you really disclose all these information on such a tool, I guess, Bobby, you have to be a very good liar if everything is just imagination and not reality. So I guess that might be also answer your question in the end. At least for me as a client, if someone puts all this information in, I guess, of course, we can never really third party check by third party, but it seems to be quite transparent for me. Yeah, just as a client.
Yeah.
Okay. Bobby, anything you want to say? Please go ahead, Bobby.
No. Good. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay.
The more I listen to it, the better.
Okay. Good. Thanks a lot. Is there any other comments or answers or questions? Yeah. If Matea, you want to say?
No, I just want to add, that
I guess there's another seminar coming soon. Do you want to?
Yeah, exactly. So in the next seminars, we will go more about to the details, to some specific topics, and we will put all invitations to our website and also circulate on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I guess thanks a lot. We are very well on time. Thanks for the good discussions we had. I consider it was very interesting. And yeah, would be happy to see you very soon or get more information about your products using phyZapp or any other kind of tool. Thanks from Matea and Jon for introducing, to walk us through. And yes, have a nice day. And thanks a lot for spending our time with us, and have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.